Hi friends, welcome to my YouTube channel. Okay, what are the best Fiverr gig promotional strategies that you have? In this video, I'm going to show you the best Fiverr gig promotional strategies you can use to promote your gigs in 2022. My name is Awogor, and if today is your first time watching any of my videos, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and turn on your notification option so that next time I publish a new video, you'll be the first to know. So now let's get started. So, all right, I usually get a lot of questions from my friends. How can they promote their Fiverr gig to start getting orders as fast as possible on Fiverr freelancing platform? Right, that question is rather more technical to answer than it seems to be. All right. So before I will just jump into giving you the strategies to quickly start getting orders on Fiverr, I'm going to first of all show you how to properly optimize your gig. I'm going to give you some key strategies that you need to implement on your Fiverr gig before you can start receiving, or before it will start getting the maximum exposure that it needs in order to start getting orders. All right. Don't forget the fact that you need also to be always online to make sure that customers are always seeing you available, knowing that you are always ready to work. So you have to download the Fiverr app first on your phone so that you always stay online. So the first thing I'm going to talk about that you really need to do is your Fiverr gig optimization. You really need to optimize your gig. Just like every other search engine, they have different algorithms that help them to determine what information is presented to somebody searching for a particular information. Likewise, Fiverr is also a search engine on its own. Any platform that you see a search box, a search button that you need to put in a keyword, then it pulls out results in form of information for you, is a search engine on its own. And it has its own algorithm that is used to determine the kind of information that will be presented to the person searching for the information. So now it's time for you to properly understand how Fiverr algorithm also works and how to properly optimize your gig. So first of all, the things that Fiverr search engine take into account mostly when it comes to the kind of information they present to their users is very broad, and one of them is Fiverr gig title and the Fiverr description. Although Fiverr gig description has nothing to do with what information Fiverr will present to somebody searching for a gig or a service on Fiverr, but you also need to take into account. I'm going to go into details. Fiverr gig title, Fiverr gig description, gig tags, and the gig price. So these are the 4 key strategies that usually determine if your gig or if a customer is going to hire you or not. All right. So the first of them being the gig title. First of all, you need to properly make your title, as in you need to title your gig to be as descriptive as possible. You know that when you go to Fiverr and you start searching for a particular service, let's say WordPress design, for instance, you see that you have different gigs that will pop up, but Fiverr will likely bring some gigs that you see the titles kind of look like not an English statement or not a correct English title. Fiverr will bring them out, but in a layman language, you notice that this gig title that kind of look like it's not an English title are more descriptive than when you just go straight to the point, like saying, I would design a WordPress website for you. Something like that is too easy like that, right? So, but you see some gigs title that are kind of looking rough, like, but they are the ones that are actually coming up on the front page of Fiverr search engine. So you need to work on your title to make them look nice, make them look as descriptive as possible and as short as possible. I think Fiverr gives us about 60 characters or so to use on our Fiverr gig. Then the Fiverr gig description Remember, if you have a winning image on your winning featured image on your Fiverr gig, and you also have a good title that was able to put you to the eyes of the customer, a potential customer, the next thing you need to do is to use your gig description to be able to convince the customer that you are the right talents that they are looking for. All right. So you need to make sure that you have the copywriting skills to, as short as possible, convince me to know that you have the talent. So one of the strategies that most people use, especially those that are in the creative industry, I'm talking about if you are into creating slides or graphics, anything that has to do with graphics or visual content, then you can create a Binance account or Flickr account or any other platform that is able to store part of your job or most of your job. Then you can create demo content and upload them there as much as possible. Then if you're not good in making copies for your Fiverr gig description, then as little as you can be able to make that description, then you attach links to Google Drive files where they can actually see your demo content. So if you're able to see your demo content, trust me, you are going to convince them to know that you are the right talent for them. So your gig description is very, very, very important. It's one thing to attract somebody to your gig. It's another thing to convince them to actually place an order for your service. Then another thing I'll be talking about is gig tags. Gig tags are one of the key algorithms that Fiverr uses to determine what information is presented to the customer or the potential customer. All right. So you need to properly optimize your gigs. You need to properly optimize your gigs, like optimize the tags. You know, most of the time people will tell you that when you search for WordPress, for instance, okay, this part I think I'm going to switch my screen and I'll be showing you from a Fiverr dashboard what I'm talking about. Okay, so this is Fiverr dashboard, and here we have. Let me search for a service like WordPress development. So yeah, we are on the WordPress development, and I'm going to open like 2 gigs. You know, usually when people are advising you on how to design or to optimize your Fiverr gig, they will tell you that when you search for Fiverr, like when you search for WordPress like this, and you land on this first page, all the people that are coming on the first page are the ones that are ranking most. No, that is not true. And they'll advise you that you open this gig, then the first gig that is there, then scroll down and see the tags they are using. Then use the same tags on your own gig. That is not true. That is totally wrong. This is not how it works. The fact that this gig is on the first page doesn't mean they will receive more orders than the person that is on that. And the fact that I'm seeing this gig on the first page doesn't mean that someone in the United States will also see this gig on the front page. And someone in another country might likely not see this gig on the front page. So that is how it works. So you don't necessarily need to start copying everything, because when people say that, it makes a lot of Fiverians want to copy everything that this person is doing. They will want to copy everything. So that is not the point here. So your Fiverr gig tags need to be unique. So if you are using, this person is using WooCommerce, WordPress install, website development, WordPress website, and WordPress SEO. So you can see that he's even talking about SEO, but the main service here is to design a WordPress website for your business and WooCommerce store. So how is SEO? What has SEO got to do with that? Okay, but he's getting orders and he's on the front page. You look at another person who is the second gig here, he or she might be using something different. So you see that it doesn't really matter. Responsive website design, WordPress, to just make sure that the tags you are using are related to what service you want to offer. If it is WordPress design, at least include, you are limited to only 5 tags. All right, you are limited to only 5 tags on per gig. So if it is WordPress design service that you want to offer, try as much as possible to make sure that you include at least 2 to 3 tags that mention WordPress. That is the best practices that I always advise people to take. Then, and another thing is the gate price. Don't just jump into putting $200, $300 on your gigs. If you are creating packages, for your gig, like these 3 packages from basic, standard to premium, you need to properly implement these strategies because it will help you a lot. It will help you a lot. You don't need to, on your basic package, you need to make it the minimum price as much as possible. Say $5, $10, $20. So let the customer start wondering, because they know that the price you put here is not likely the amount you are charging. And most importantly, when you want to, before you publish your gig, add in the end of your description that they should contact you first before placing an order, so that by the time that they see, most of them have low budget, they want to go for people with little Fiverr price. So as low as possible, you have to make it as low as possible. So trust me, this guy that is putting $35 here for this gig will not charge $35 in the real sense. So before you place an order, you have to contact him. Then that is just a strategy for you to attract customers. So you have to make your gig price to be as low as possible on the basic plan. Okay, so another thing I really want to talk about that you need to implement on your Fiverr gig is the gig variation strategy. Okay, so if you are focusing on WordPress, you have to create different variation of a particular gig. Okay, create as, say, from 2 to 3 variations. So if this one is talking about Fiverr, creating a WordPress website from scratch, another one will likely be talking about fixing WordPress bugs, another one will be talking about maybe installing a WooCommerce, like setting up a WooCommerce store. Another one, just create different variations of your gig, so that I'm going to tell you why to do this in a short while. But make sure you create different variation of your gig, at least 2 to 3 variations of different gigs related to WordPress. Don't just create one gig and you start pushing in money to promote it in order to get sales. All right, because there's one thing about DNA. One thing in the DNA is that no matter how unidentical a twin can be, the blood, the fingerprint is usually different. They must have different fingerprints. It can never come the same. All right. So with that understanding, you also know that when you have 3 gigs on the same category of Fiverr freelancing platform, either of them will be performing better than the rest. So now I'm going to show you what to do with this very gig that will be performing better. So when you create your variation, you need to start monitoring them. You need to start monitoring all the gigs that you've created for the period of 1 week to 2 weeks. And if you are so patient, monitor them to 1 month. But if you are not so patient, monitor them 1 week to 2 weeks. Then in a short while, I'm going to tell you what to do. All right. So if you have done everything I've said in the past or in the previous subsections, then it's time for you to start the promotional strategies. So you need to start implementing the promotional strategies. All right. So you see that these guys, when you open these gigs, they have 7. This guy have 7 orders in queue. There's a strategy behind that. Not all of these orders that are real, or not all of these orders that are by real customers. All right. Now, when you look at this guy, it doesn't have any. It doesn't have any order in pending, or it doesn't have any pending order. But this guy has a pending order. So chances are the people that are coming here, they will want to believe this guy more, that is more active and working more than this guy, because there's no active order here. But in real sense, it should look like if you come here, you have this, there's no order, there's no active order on this gig, then that is a good, there is a signal for you to understand that this guy is going to prioritize your order. But no, that is not the case on Fiverr. Fiverr customers are kind of very alike, okay? They want to go for somebody who has jobs in queue or who have pending orders because they believe that the person is doing a great job. That is why he is getting more orders. So they want to go for you. So as much as possible. So now that let's go back to let's not deviate our topic, right? Let's talk about the promotion now. Now that you've gotten 5 or you've monitored your gigs of the different variations that you created, let's talk about how you can make a decision now. So now that you've monitored them and you see that one of the gigs, either you have like 100, 200 impressions, even though you don't have any order, don't worry, okay? You have 100, 200 impressions. Another one, you likely have 300, 500 impressions. Another one, you have 1,000 impressions. Or another one, you have less than 100 impressions. Now, if you are a customer or if you are to make a decision and invest money on one, you know that the one that is getting more impressions is the one that Fiverr is likely pushing forward more than the others. Or that is the one that is the keyword that people are mostly searching anyways. Let's take that, okay? Then it's time for you to look for a way to make them actually click. So are they clicking that order if you are getting impressions? So now let me tell you the difference between impressions and clicks on Fiverr. So now I search for WordPress. I'm scrolling. All these ones I'm seeing here, Fiverr is recording them as impressions. If I open the second page, they'll also record them as impressions. Now, anyone, I click through these two. I open these two. Those are clicks. So if you are getting 500 impressions and your clicks are less than 100, then that is a good sign that your gig title is not encouraging enough. Your featured image, your creative is not encouraging enough. Then you might need to further optimize them. All right. So if you are getting those impressions and you are getting a few clicks, then they are not buying. Then chances are your description is not good enough. Your pricing model is not good enough. So what will you do? Now, let's leave the pricing model first, but let's give our gigs some reviews. They need those reviews to be convinced that you are up for service. So now what you need to do is to spend a little money on your gig. Spend a little money on your gig. Now, you need to get a VPN, like you can use a Tor browser, then open to maybe like 2 US buyer accounts, open 2 US buyer accounts, open like 2 UK buyer account, maybe like France, 1 buyer account up to 5. So you have to spend some money. You get the money back, but not all anyways, but it's going to help you a lot. So use those 5 different accounts and place an order on your Fiverr gig, okay? Place an order on your Fiverr gig. So those 5 orders, you deliver them once at a time. I mean, one at a time. So by maybe 3 days time, you deliver one. You have leave the rest to be in queue. Then you give yourself the 5-star review. Then you have to wait again for a space of 2 to 3 days. Then deliver another one. Then give yourself a 5-star review. Then wait for like 2 weeks, a week or 2. Then deliver another one. Give yourself 5-star review. Then leave the remaining 2 to be there for pending orders. All right. So this, you can ask your friends in other Fiverr groups to do it for you. But I usually prefer it when you do it yourself. Okay. I prefer it when you do it yourself. And you can also get an old Fiverr account to do that, but it doesn't really matter anyways. So once you give yourself these reviews, these 3 5-star reviews, and you have 2 pending orders in queue, and you still have people seeing your gig, clicking through your gig, they are going to start placing orders. This is not going to happen as a rocket science. It's not like it's going to happen in one day. You really have to be patient to monitor your gig. And most importantly, make sure that you are constantly online. You are constantly online. Download the Fiverr app on your phone. If you are not using a foreign country, even though you are using a foreign country anyways, you can still use the Fiverr app. Just that the local time on your Fiverr app will be different when visitors or when customers are seeing your chat, your conversation. But that is not really a problem. I don't even advise you guys, I don't even advise anybody to start disguising in Fiverr. I know it's very difficult for some countries to start getting genuine orders on Fiverr, but when you start doing your craft well and you start getting customers, trust me, your country of origin will not really be a problem anymore. All right. So I hope this video helps somebody start receiving orders on Fiverr. If you like this video, please do not forget to give a thumbs up, then leave a comment if you like it, so I will know how you feel about this video. I want to see subsequent videos like this. Please let me know in the comment section, and I'll try my best to make more videos of this nature. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in our next video. Hey guys, I hope you enjoyed watching that video. If there's anything you want to share with me, please do not forget to do that in the comment section. And if you are yet to subscribe to my YouTube channel, please do that right away. It doesn't take anything from you. I really want to see what you feel, and I want to see you in my next video again, so I could always get your value or opinion. All right. Thank you, and I'll see you in the next video.